Hello, hello, hello. My name is Ronak, Kedia, and I have a fantastic news for the cricket fans in Delhi and NCR region. Adams Cricket Academy, an Australian-based cricket company, is organizing Under 16 India versus Australia Youth Cup series in the month of September. A total of 16 matches will be played between Australia Colts, Uttarakhand Colts, Gujarat Tigers, and Haryana CA in two formats, and that is a T20 and a one day. To talk more about it, we have a special guest today. To introduce him, we have another special guest today. Arpita, I hand over to you to introduce Steve, please.
And as they say, to carve out a structure, you have to keep nudging on the rock. Today, I have a man with me who is on a mission to carve out Australian cricket's future. He is the owner of Big Dog Cricket, one of Australia's leading cricket equipment and apparel providers, as well as the go to cricket coaching company in Melbourne. As a level 2 cricket Australian certified coach, he coaches the Melbourne Star Junior squad and Lepage Park CC. I, Arpita Joshi, along with Ronak, takes the immense pleasure to welcome you, Steve. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for the introduction, and very excited to arrive next week. But more than happy to have a chat, and just excited by the whole process, and have been for a long time. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely, it is an immense pleasure to welcome you, Steve. And before we begin about that tournament specifically, let me, delve into what your cricketing life has been. Let me tell the audience that you have been associated with Australian cricket for a long, long time. So basically, I want to know the journey. How and what was your association with cricket, and how has it been like? And what were the challenges initially? If you can just dwell in a light or share something with us.
Sure. So I was exposed to cricket at a very young age. As a 3-year-old, my dad played cricket all through his juniors, and when I was 3, we moved around the corner from Lepage Park. So I'm still there, which is obviously that's now 36 years since I've been there. And Dad played a lot of senior cricket there. It's pretty much been my second family, still is for a long time. And I was the little annoying kid that kept asking people to throw me cricket balls in the nets while they were trying to play. And yeah, so I've pretty much grown up at the club through Dad's a lot of hard work, and my mum as well. She threw me a lot of balls at home and made sure I was batting and training as well as at training, but away from cricket training as well. Then moved into my junior cricket at Lepage. I was fortunate enough to play some representative cricket growing up. Played for the Victorian schoolboys team, which was pretty cool. Going away to Tamworth, played the other states around Australia. Then some other representative cricket growing up, and then found myself back at Lepage to play all my senior cricket there. Captained the club for 12 seasons, which was an amazing journey. And I started that at a young age, at 23. So kind of forced me to grow up pretty quickly, but an experience that I look back on, and it helped me grow as a person. And just being at a good club for such a long time, you form a lot of bonds, and lifelong bonds through various ages. And it's been an amazing journey. It's really sort of catapulted in a direction that I've found a new passion for cricket in the last 18 months to 2 years in the coaching area, which is unreal. I'm really excited by that. I'm still playing, which is cool. I'm way too competitive to stop playing cricket or even consider that. But growing up, I just was that probably like most kids in Melbourne. I loved playing cricket in the summer and playing Aussie rules in the winter. And they complemented each other, and a lot of my friends did the same thing. So it was kind of pretty easy to finish school and go play cricket till pretty much dark. And that's probably how I honed my skills, and just through a lot of practice. Didn't have any specific coaches, so to speak, growing up. Like outside of cricket, we had our club coaches, which Dad was a part of, and some guys from the club, which I was very fortunate enough to have really good people around. But outside of cricket, it was just repetition and having a fun side of cricket. So I try and add that part of my coaching as well, because it is a fun game, and sometimes we get lost in that a little bit, but we've got to make sure that everyone's having fun, because life's better when you're smiling. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and to a certain extent, it's only just begun in a different path as well. So yeah, excited.
Absolutely. I mean, your journey has been fantastic, and your association with the teams and clubs, as well as your dad, that has been inspiring. And if I say a movie was to be made on you, in movie business we say entertainment, 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 but your title would be cricket, cricket, cricket. That's the only thing. Like from start to end, from young age to right now, you are coaching, and it has always been cricket. So I can imagine how passionate you are about the game, and that quickly delves into my second question that I have. Interestingly, cricket as a player is a different thing, but you have a company called Big Dog, and the journey of that also has been very interesting. I read about it, and it says that you started with one trucker hat with your two friends, and currently I see on the website that it has multiple, in fact, whole of Australia's sporting merchandise is basically Big Dog. So, what do you have to say about that journey, and how do you define that journey?
It's been an enjoyable one as well. So that's right. We started with one trucker hat. It was a bit of a silly nickname before that. And one of the guys, his wife said, "You're going to have to do something about this nickname." So he went out and got it one trucker hat in his footy team colours, red and white, and had Big Dog on the front. And interestingly enough, that guy's on our tour, Maxie Wilton. So he'll love that story. That's literally how it started. Then we're going, well, if you get one hat, you get three. So there was three of us. We had hats. Took them down to the cricket club. A few guys thought it was pretty funny. So we got some more made, got some singlets, and then sort of just steamrolled from there. We had a few of the Melbourne Stars players at the time, Rob Quiney and John Hastings, pretty happy to wear them. So they put a few photos on Twitter. All of a sudden, there was a bit of a, who are these guys? They got a pretty cool name. But yeah, so it sort of grew from the social media thing, which obviously does help a lot of brands. So we probably timed our run right with that. And then we actually got a bit of a break in 2013 with a guy taking some Big Dog hats and T-shirts to the ICC Champions Trophy in England. Okay. He was team manager of the South African team. Managed to get us some photos with Dale Steyn wearing it and David Miller and a few of those guys, and which was cool. So we're like, how's that happened in the space of 12 months? Didn't even contemplate things like that. So then a lot of our lifestyle clothing was about the cricket community and how can we promote it through professional cricketers and stuff like that, but also keep our base at community level and our friends and all that, not trying to be some people that we're not. So that journey continues. We were lucky enough to get like Virat Kohli, Anushka Sharma wear the hats, which was next level, obviously. That was back in the IPL in 2016. So stuff like that, like we never envisaged or dreamt of things like that happening. So that was that always gives you a little bit of a buzz. And then from there, we've moved into the sports apparel. So for sporting clubs and teams, and to a lesser extent businesses and tours. And that sort of catapulted the business into a little bit of a different direction. We still have the lifestyle clothing, but the growth from that has been quite significant. So, yeah, I did that as a side business for about 10 years. And as of about 4 months ago, I moved into that full time. So that was obviously a dream of mine from the start, which was great to add that. And that now that's part of my day-to-day lifestyle, which is, I love it. And then we added the Big Dog cricket component, which was an idea pre-COVID. So put that to the back burner a little bit and then ramped that up last year a fair bit. And that's moving quite fast, but yeah, really good. We've signed some nice partnerships and offering a lot of coaching services around Melbourne, an in-club package, which has been quite popular, and also a range of equipment. So bats and gloves and all that, which you'll see a fair bit of at the tour, which will be good. And yeah, I work a little bit in the Big Bash youth academies for the Stars and the Renegades. So a lot of coaching, but it's definitely a big passion of mine, which probably comes through quite clearly. But it's I get a lot of drive from seeing people improve, and yeah, it's a very fulfilling part of my life. So it's I love it at the moment, and people like the name Big Dog. So we might have struck gold a little bit there, but yeah, we love it, and it's good.
It is a catchy name. It is a catchy name, Big Dog. Yeah. And basically, you said that how you catapulted the business with two incidents, and Arpita nicely introduced you in between that. you keep nudging on a structure and it forms. At one point, it forms it, like the final nudge. And for you, it happened, during ICC tournaments when, David Miller and all where you kept, and then Virat Kohli and Anushka got in the business, and that catapulted your thing to the next level. So that says a lot about, you kept persisting with this business, and it happened that one moment arrived, and then it went to the next level. So it is really nice to hear your journey and your inspirational journey. But that brings me to the most interesting question of the day, I believe. Your association with Bruce Adams Academy. I mean, that is why we are all here today. And what transpired the idea of having an under 16 tournament and your association with Bruce Adams Academy? If you can please share some light on that.
Sure. So Bruce and I stumbled across each other on LinkedIn. Saw a few of his posts and stuff like that. And I didn't use LinkedIn a lot, probably 2 years ago, but I just found some of the stuff that he was posting quite thought-provoking and very interesting about cricket. So there was a lure for me there. So I was like, oh, I need to speak to this guy. It was like that. So I think I sent him a direct message one day, which was about 2 years ago, and we bounced a few messages back and forth back then. We were meant to catch up, I reckon, 18 months ago in Melbourne. Didn't quite work, obviously, with COVID and stuff. It was a bit difficult. But, we started chatting again probably about a year ago, and, jumped on the phone one day, and I was like, this this is someone that I probably drew little bit of inspiration from without even knowing him. We had some really good discussions on the phone, and I sort of found some articles about Bruce and what he'd done in the past, and found that very interesting. And it came up in conversation towards the end of last year about he was looking to get back in the tours, and I was very interested in that and how it would all work. So we had the conversations, and Bruce said, "This is what I'm going to do, and would you like to be part of it?" And I said, "Yes." It was a pretty easy answer. And then just the opportunity to come to India as part of a cricket tournament is something that's not readily available in Australia. So it was a pretty easy decision on that front as well. So, and then to have me, for Bruce to put his trust in me to coach the team is an incredible honour, and I feel very privileged to be part of that. It's one of those things that I'd say meant to happen, but I just feel very fortunate and thankful to Bruce for the opportunity. And it's going to be a pretty exciting tournament. Speaking to a lot of the guys, and as we went through the process of players and all that, it was speaking to the parents. It was like, here's an opportunity. What do you think? And it was like they couldn't say yes quick enough. Probably like how I responded. So just an incredible opportunity that can't wait to be a part of in a week's time. It's crept up, but it's quite exciting.
Yeah, before we go ahead with that idea and the context, let me invite Arpita to talk something more about Bruce Adams Academy, because she is working over there, so she might have more of idea how it is being programmed. And Arpita, if you can share some thoughts about it.
So I as well stumbled, across Bruce Adams Academy's LinkedIn page, and that's how we connected. I went on to give this interview for this upcoming tournament. They liked me, and that's how I got on board with them for this tournament. And it's just like 1 week later, we'll all be meeting in Delhi, and this tournament will be organized. Yeah, I am really looking forward to it, and meeting you as well, Steve. And this is actually being played in 2 formats, Ronak. We'll be having total of 16 matches. 4 will be in T20 format, and 8 will be in T20 format, and 8 will be one-day matches. And 4 different teams will be competing against each other in these tournaments. And the venues are City Fort in Delhi and Noida Cricket Stadium. So the final matches are on 23rd and 18th for T20 and 50 over respectively. So this is the plan that we're moving forward with at the moment.
Sure. And that sounds interesting. I mean, if I could join you back like over there in a week's time, that would be great. But anyways, all the best to you guys. But before we go into the technical aspects of that interview, I would like to have some fun with you, Steve. If you are okay with, we have some rapid fire questions. If you are okay with that, we'll go with that. So,
let's go.
So first question is, name any 8 ways through which a batsman can get out. There are multiple ways, but if you can name 7 ways in which a batsman can get out.
LBW, bowled, handled ball, hit wicket, caught behind. Is that 6?
Run out, maybe.
Run out, yeah, stumped. There we go.
Yeah, okay, we have 8. We are done with that, so we'll leave it over there. Next is your favorite fielding position and why. There are some funny positions as well, but your fielding positions, your favorite fielding position.
My favourite is probably a little bit different to a lot of people, and that's short cover.
Wow.
Yep.
And why is that?
In the game. So generally, as a captain, if I put myself at short cover, then you're probably looking at taking a catch and something that's probably going to be coming pretty fast. But you can also make a difference where if you're trying to entice the batter to hit through you, if you can stop some runs there and put a little bit of pressure on and creep towards them a little bit, put a little bit of extra pressure on, do they want to play the shot, have a little bit of a chat, then so I enjoyed that. Now, I've got to say I probably don't field there anymore because I won't say my eyes are like they were 5 years ago. We got some younger blokes for that. But, yeah, it's probably a little bit different to what you thought.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I thought of some funnier position like leg gully or something like that. There, the batters can do it over there, and it happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that would come, but this was a bouncer for me as well. So I'll take it over there. Next question. I'll move to next question. This is a situational based question, imaginary question, because we Indians are good in imagining. Ki this will happen, so this will happen. So I imagine the question for you. Imagine yourself as the captain of the bowling side, as you said, of the bowler side. So you are defending 15 runs in the last over. Okay. So would you like to bowl to Andre Russell or MS Dhoni? You are free to choose your bowler. You can bowl yourself or you can choose any bowler in the world. Who would it be? And who would you choose? Andre Russell or MS Dhoni?
MS Dhoni is just like Zen master. So he's probably the best finisher in the game. So I definitely wouldn't want to bowl to him. Who's someone I'd bowl? Actually, probably a little bit left field is one of the better bowlers is Josh Hazlewood at the moment, who's come from, had a really good IPL last year for CSK.
And having a good game against New Zealand as well. Back-to-back 3 wickets, I have not.
Yeah, okay. Smart cricketer, really. I think he assesses the game really well, and good bouncer, good Yorker. So I'd probably go with off the cuff, probably Josh Hazlewood, but probably no one to bowl to MS Dhoni, to be honest. Even now.
I thought that would be the answer, but yes, MS Dhoni is dangerous, and the best
He's on
part
a different level.
is cool. Yeah, the best part is keeping his cool. Yeah, so
different level in that area, in that finishing game. He's
absolutely
amazing.
I wouldn't argue on that point, obviously. The fourth question for you is, what's more important for a batter? If you have to rate out of the 3, footwork, head position, balance, like the best or the most important out of the 3.
Oh, good one. It's head position and balance is probably hard to split. Foot position is important, but some guys have that, and girls have that pure skill with amazing hands. So I'd probably say balance, because if you're balanced, your head's probably in a good position anyway. And I think balance in cricket in general is probably can set you apart as a bowler batter, especially fielding. But if you're balanced at the crease, you're generally sort of in control of what you're doing. So good question, that one.
Thank you so much. So I can rate balance, footwork, and then foot position, if that is correct.
Yep.
In the order. Okay, sure. Before we go into the technical aspects of the question round, the final question is, one player you would have in your side, irrespective of format you are playing, like any format, any situation, one player you can trust, like this is my guy. Like once I believe Gavaskar said that he would, have Sachin Tendulkar on his side any day, any point of the time. So what is that player?
Probably Adam Gilchrist.
Wow, nice choice. I mean, that would have been my second choice if it was not MS Dhoni. Yeah, so Adam Gilchrist. Yeah,
Adam
definitely.
Gilchrist, because he can win a game in any format. And he's an all-rounder because he's a keeper as well. So you get two brilliant cricketers in the one. So, I'd probably go Adam Gilchrist in any format.
So, Steve, it's time now to put your. Actually, you're already wearing a hat, but I wanted to say that put your head coach cap on. So, if that is not on already, because we are going to technical aspects of it. The question is, being the head coach, how do you identify and nurture the talent that comes across? What are some things that you have worked on specifically to prepare for playing in Indian conditions? Because Indian conditions, are multiple dimensional, so multi-dimensional, you can say. Some places it spins well, some places it bounces well. So how did you prepare them for the particular conditions, and how do you nurture the talent? Because you have to have that, see how the player is groomed, and how do you do that?
Probably a couple of parts to that question. So, in looking for talent in general, when I'm sort of coaching players, whether it's like one-to-one or groups, small groups, clubs, or teams, I should say, I think there's got to be a connection between the player and the coach and a level of care. So if you want the player to invest in what you're saying, so you need to build that connection, that personal connection straight away. So when you're passing on advice or trying to guide them in some of especially in the skill aspect, you want them to trust what you're saying to them is going to help them. So instead of coming in there and going, I think you should do this and do that, then, no one likes to be dictated to all the time. So a level of, a connection with the player on a personal level, I think goes a long way. And I think like nurturing that relationship. So if the player invests back in the coach and the coach invests in the player, I think the learning aspect it flows from there, because they're going to listen. There's going to be more investment from both sides. And I think you can get some great results from that in teams, one-to-ones. And that sort of goes across a lot of formats. In terms of preparing for the Indian conditions, been working with quite a few of the guys coming from Victoria over winter, and a couple of them are from my club. So we've sort of had a big focus on facing a lot of spin. So facing good spinners in Australia is not easy to come by. So if you're at club training, you have maybe one or two here and there, but might not be in your age group or they're in the senior group. So a lot of throwdowns with spin, working on line and length, judging. If we're trying to practice a sweep shot, well, you got to hit that hundreds of times instead of just playing it a few times off a couple of spinners and going, yeah, I can play that. It's like a lot of repetition, find your line and your length to play that shot to the best of your ability. So preparing that way, a lot of the boys have probably played on a bit of turf wicket, but a lot of synthetic. So we do get a bit of bounce here. So a lot of the guys are probably okay at playing the bouncier wickets. But yeah, a lot of repetition over winter, a lot of discussion about the experience itself and embracing that. Yes, there's going to be a lot of challenges and being taken right out of your comfort zone. Like you're playing in a totally different part. We're going from 12 degrees to 35 degrees in the space of like the click of your fingers. It's going to change pretty quickly. So, and just embracing that journey and that part of it. So, yeah, you might not have a great day on day one or day three, but take stock. And this is about me as the coach and Luke and the rest of the guys to just go, you know what? It's part of the journey. It's part of cricket. Let's not get down if we make a duck or make five or, go for a few runs. It's embrace the journey, pick ourselves back up and go, you know what? You never know the next day. You might make 50. It might be your breakout game. And that does come from the connection with players and building that positive rapport. And it can go a long way. And then sticking to routine. So if a batter's got a routine, then stick to that. If you do it in cricket season here, we take that over with us as a player. And as a coach, as a coach, you encourage the individual skill side of the cricket. So everyone plays a little bit different. So if some guys are happy to hit over the top, then We don't try and force them to do what they're not comfortable with, because that's probably going to make them second guess a lot of things. That's more of a training aspect. But when we're over in the conditions, it's embrace the game, embrace the opposition, and just the whole journey and the experience. It's it's gonna be really good, and just be part of playing with guys that you've never met before. It's a proper tour. It's almost like professional cricket for these guys for 12 days, and we treat it like that. So yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, one of the most important thing you said is practice, practice, practice. So I can remember a quote by someone famously said, I don't remember the name, sorry for that, but he famously said that I am not afraid of hundreds of shots that you practice one time, but I'm afraid of one shot that you have practiced hundreds and thousands of times. So that basically goes on to say that practice, practice, practice motto of yours. And I mean, fantastic the way you explained how it should be done in India and in the foreign conditions as well, how you can groom a player or how can you grow a player. That bit brings me to finally in the final question, and that is the most important question, I guess, of this session. But it rounds up. Things come back to you. The first question which you answered about your journey already, I think, sort of answered the final question, because my final question is about who are the coaches that have impacted your cricket journey the most and why? I believe one of the answers will be your dad. And who do you look up as a coach? If there is someone else apart from your dad, you can, because every player that you will be grooming right now in like in Australian Colts and with other teams as well, they will be looking you as an inspiration, because I already am very fond of you. So they will be looking at you as an inspiration. Who was your inspiration as a coach, or who do you look up to as a coach?
So Dad being my first cricket coach, one thing I got from him was enjoy cricket. So he didn't play high level cricket, but he taught me to enjoy sport, play it in the right way, have value about it, and respect for your opposition and your teammates, and very team orientated, which is something that is probably ingrained in me quite a lot. So there was that growing up. Then when I started playing first 11 at my club when I was 16, my first captain was Paul O'Meara, who, funnily enough, he's coming on the tour with his two boys, which is pretty cool. So Paul's someone I looked up to, gave me some opportunities as a young guy, but very good leader, very strong leader, but just sort of nurtured me through probably my late teens and early 20s. And we still talk a lot about cricket and life in general, but a great mentor for me. And then probably more recently, since I've really pressed fast forward on the coaching, is do a bit of work with Rob Quiney. So he's a partner of Big Dog Cricket. We coach some Melbourne Stars programs together, and he's great to bounce ideas off, and we chat pretty much every day about different philosophies and different ideas we can come up with. Obviously, his background's quite different to mine, and played 150 games for Victoria and a couple of test matches for Australia, but we actually played our junior cricket against each other. So the relationship goes back a long way, and it's really good to bounce ideas off him. A little bit with David Hussey recently. Had some good chats with him, and I'd be exploring that a little bit more if he's got time, I suppose. Another one's a friend, Reese Adams. So Reese and I have been good friends for about 10 years. He's been a level 3 coach, coached a Premier club here. He's actually he does a bit of mentoring and specialist work in the state and the national teams here in the under 17s and 19s. And he's actually been really good for me to bounce ideas off, provide ideas to me in probably the last 10 years of our friendship, but more so the last 2 years. He's like the man behind the scenes for me that I really lean on and really value his thoughts. So a few guys around my age, a few guys a little bit older than me, but that little network there is super valuable to me. And I sort of see myself as a development coach, and every experience I can, I try and learn from. And this is going to be exactly the same thing. And spending 2 weeks with Bruce, but, spending the last close to a year with him on the phone and just learning how he goes about it. He's obviously very experienced. So, I'll be looking to to get some mentoring off Bruce himself while we're over there. And so as I see, coaching's just a development of yourself as well. Just learn from people and ask questions. Ask questions is massive.
Absolutely. And it has been an amazing interview. I'm already pumped up to see the tournament, how it goes, and how Australian Colts do. I am backing my Indian sides, Gujarat and Haryana, and but I'm interested to see how Australian Colts perform, especially under you, because I'm already pumped up after this interview to see the tournament, because I think Arpita will be the right person to speak more about it, and I'll give the dais to Arpita to close it out as well.
I agree on that, Ronak, because this is going to be a great experience, more or less an opportunity for both the sides, the Indian boys as well as the Australian Colts coming in, because they will also get to network on the grounds of cricket, early on in their life and careers.
Yeah.
Because in future, one of them might be just the next cricketing star. You never know, right? So it will be a great experience for them to learn on ground from you as well. So I am also looking forward to it, and it's just one more week to go. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yes. This will open doors for many tournaments with Australia and India through Adams Cricket Academy, because they are based in Australia and India both. So looking forward to that.
Absolutely looking forward to that. Yes, Steve, please. Sorry.
No, that's all. I was just you did touch on a great word there, and that's networking. And Bruce is probably the king at it. But talking to a few of the dads, that's one thing that has come up. And for the 15, 16-year-olds there, mingling with the opposition after games and, being out of your comfort zone, but just embracing the whole thing. And part of that exactly is networking and meeting different people. And you just never know. There might be a bunch of kids that look back and go, "I played against him one day," or they might face off in the World Cup against each other. So that's you just never know, and these experiences can really provide inspiration for a lot of people, and especially the young guys that have got the fortunate to be in the fortunate position to play from both Australia and India. So yeah, very good.
Yes, absolutely. These tours can, create a big impact on players' mind from a young age. As I said, the foundation is being laid right now, and Australian cricket's future does seems to be in a good hand, because you are the coach leading them to that position. And I believe this will be a great tournament. Hope for the best. And thank you so much, Steve and Arpita, for joining in. And let's hope that tournament kicks off with a good start. And all the best to you guys. Let's rock.
Thank you so much for having me.